How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with The Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at Dracula #1, written by James Tynion IV and put out by Image Comics and Skybound, but also is an official Universal Monsters release. Really cool. Universal has been doing a ton of crazy stuff with their classic monsters lately. Renfield, Last Voyage of the Demeanor, really just throwing a bunch of stuff and seeing what happens. And now we also have a Universal Comics line. That's cool. I don't know if they've announced anything else yet, but I would love to see all the classic monsters get their own comic books. And this is a really cool one. It is another retelling of the original Dracula story. Part of me really hoped that instead we'd get an all-new story that tied into the old movies, but whatever. It is a retelling of the original story, but like all these Dracula stories, you get the players acting in slightly different ways each time, and we kind of start off here with Renfield being the enigma. He had just washed ashore on the Demeanor, and no one really knows what's up with him, and they think the crazy master story is totally fictitious. But of course, Dracula is roaming around. We get, as hinted at by the cover, some really beautiful painterly artwork, really enforcing that classic style, but also having fun, cool, surreal moments when Dracula attacks someone. It really does a good job at keeping that classic, old-school Bram Stoker Dracula atmosphere that we really think of, doing a little bit of modern punches, but really not going overboard with that. And I really am curious where this story is going. Like I said, it is another telling of the original story, but all the pieces are always slightly different, and I am curious how much this will diverge and change over the course of the story. But that being said, really cool artwork, really a nice classic old school Dracula feel, and a nice thick cover, a very good release from Image. So I am really curious where this is going, but definitely a solid start. Anyway, if you guys want to see a little more on this release, I'm going to switch to the close-up camera. I'll show you guys a bit more of the story and a bit more of the art. No major spoilers, though. So without further ado, let's go ahead and switch to the close-up camera. Alright, here we are inside the castle, taking a closer look at Dracula issue 1. Now, this thing has a little bit of a hard time staying closed, and that's because it is made out of a really thick cardstock cover. And also, it's more resistant to finger smearing than a normal cover, so really props for giving us a good release. The cover is really cool, Dracula looming over the woman. The pattern of her dress getting very abstract. Classic Image, modern abstract painting, fun graphic art. Dracula logo with the official Universal Monsters branding. Really do like that Universal is doing a ton with their classic monsters lately. You know, starting, well, obviously the Tom Cruise Mummy didn't work out, but then after that, starting with the Blumhouse Invisible Man, they've really done just a bunch of stuff. And in addition to Dracula being in this comic book this year, we've also had both Renfield and Last Voyage of the Demeanor. So yeah, they're really just throwing everything at the wall right now and seeing what sticks. Back cover, we get shadowy image of Dracula, 00111, rated T+, and the front cover will tell us it's a $4.99 book. $4.99, on the higher side of standard, but again, you get a nice thick cover here, and it is a really big, cool book to come out, so okay, I get $4.99. Also, on the back of the book, we get some sketch pages, which are fun, but also a really good, interesting note from James Tynion himself. And I do like with this note, he talks about how he doesn't remember where he first heard of Dracula. He said he remembers seeing Dracula Dead and loving it at age 7, but he said he already knew the players and he knew the gist of the story before he saw that movie. And he's like, it's so weird how Dracula's just in our minds without us really remembering when we first saw him. And he really talks very passionately about the character, and I really do like to see, that they gave the book to someone that legitimately loves Dracula. That's pretty cool. Anyway, credits up here at the top, James Tynion IV and Martin Simmonds. And after that, we get into the story proper. I'm not going to do any major spoilers, but I want to show you guys a little bit of the art, talk a little bit about the story, do some analysis, but no significant spoilers. We open up with good old Renfield there, eating some bugs, as he's one to do, and basically, they just found him on the demeanor. Everyone else is dead, so they assume he did it. And he's talking to Dr. Stewart there, and this is in a very abstract, classic, painterly style, and we can see that canonically Renfield does look like just a normal guy, but for the audience, sometimes he gets abstracted and looks very ghoulish. Anyway, since he starts to kind of hint and talk about the Master, we do get this nice double-page title spread, Dracula, and then him there. And boy, yeah, more monstrous Dracula. You can almost hear the classic organ music with this title page. Really, really do love it. But anyway, Renfield's kind of become a legend. People are wondering about him. We get Jonathan Harker here, and he's like, is it true he really tied the captain up to the wheel? And Stewart will talk to him and be like, it's probably some sort of blood disease. He's getting close, he doesn't know it though, and they talk about replacing his blood, giving him some new blood, and after that, we get a scene with Mina and Lucy, and you see how they're talking about rumors, and behind them looms the captain tied to his wheel, and we also do get where Lucy goes, oh, I could use somebody ripping at my throat with their teeth, and I do think that this is, because whenever they remake stuff, there's always the temptation to make it a little more R-rated than it was previously. This is only a T+ book, but I do like, they didn't just make it unrealistic, because yeah, this is a semi-dirty comment, but it's between two close friends in private, so I like that they kept it at least contextually, plausible, but yeah, Renfield has become quite the talk of the town. And we do get this scene where a woman walks down the quiet London street, this redhead, and she sees a wolf with this glowing eyes, and that will lead to another really cool double-page splash, which even though it is one image, is really several panels. Dracula, the eyes, turning into a human from the wolf, biting her. Really cool. Classic imagery mixed with abstraction, really cool painterly style, but also here's the staples, so I won't go too much farther. But yeah, a really cool classic book. I did love the art, and I kind of did want an original story with Dracula that tied into the movies, but this is very much a retelling of the main Dracula story, but we can see with a different tone, and I do like, there's the same players that we always get, but they're always in kind of slightly different positions, slightly different predicaments, and this is a case of very classic to start, but I am curious how much this will diverge and take its own path, and it is really an interesting thing just with how this story repeats over and over again, but keeps changing a little. So it is interesting. I really want to see where this is going, and I really do love the Universal monsters. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my classic Universal and modern reboot playlist. You can see my review for a lot of the old Universal monster movies in there, as well as some of their newer takes like the newer Invisible Man or Renfield or something. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.